California accounts for 49% of all pandemic unemployment claims nationwide, 4.4 million increase since July 25 alone. Hello, this is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about California and the unbelievable amount of pandemic unemployment insurance claims that have been coming in to the Department of Labor. It appears that more people are collecting benefits than have even applied for it, and it's by numbers of millions. Now, this is either a gross accounting error or is massive fraud being perpetrated in California to steal from the unemployment funds and have fraudulent claims coming in, claiming that people are, out of work because of the pandemic of COVID-19, and this may not even be true. It may be fake people that are submitting these claims, and people are stealing money. They could be attempting to rig federal funding formulas for municipalities under congressional spending and things like that. And so we're going to take a look at some of these numbers. This is an unbelievable story, charting data in the Department of Labor and the Bureau of Labor Statistics for over 10 years. I've never seen anything like this. And so this is certainly something to take note of and to tell you, you need to pay attention to these weekly unemployment insurance claims, particularly during this pandemic that are coming out right now. California seems to have a massive problem. Now, California accounts for about 22% of all regular unemployment insurance claims and about 49% of all pandemic unemployment assistance claims, despite the fact that they only make up about 15% of the nationwide population. This was, as of July 2019, 39.5 million working age adults in the state of California, and that accounts for about 15% of the working age population. But they're making up 49% of these pandemic unemployment assistance claims, which are up to 6.97 million in California, and that's up 1.5 million from the week before that. So from August 15 to August 22, continued claims for pandemic unemployment assistance in California went up by 1.5 million, and it's been up 4.4 million of its 6.97 million are since July 25th alone. And again, this goes way beyond the initial claims that you see in the pandemic assistance in the state of California. If you add those up, there's only 2.4 million unemployment pandemic assistance claims through August 22nd. But according to the Department of Labor, they have 6.97 million total continued claims. So more people are collecting unemployment pandemic assistance in California than even applied for it, because only 2.8 million people applied for it. Now, there could be some double counting going on there. There could be something else that's going on there. There can be gross negligence at the administrative level in counting these up, or there could be massive fraud that's being perpetrated right now. In addition, initial pandemic unemployment claims have more than doubled to 405,000 the week of August 29th from 2 weeks prior. And according to a New York Times report published September 11th, Lori Levy, a spokeswoman for the California Employment Development Department, this could be a massive fraud that's being perpetrated right now. We do suspect a big part of the unusual rise in the PUA, that's pandemic unemployment assistance claims, is linked to fraud. And she said that there's unscrupulous attacks exploiting identity theft and vulnerabilities in the system. And the New York Times reports that many of these claims are actually winding up in unattended mailboxes. Quote, 2 weeks ago, shortly after she advertised an apartment for rent in the Bay Area, Barbara Lamb found 5 envelopes from the state's unemployment office in the building's communal mail slot. They kept coming day after day until a stack of more than 30 piled up, bulging with notices of benefit approvals, questionnaires about job status, and debit cards with money. So they were sending debit cards and these benefits to unattended mailboxes. And it's like, what kind of fraud is this? Why aren't they collecting why aren't they stealing the money? Why just try to boost those numbers? And that's one of the mysteries we're going to try to solve here. Now, the fact that there is fraud in the pandemic unemployment claims process is not surprising, with the program's eligibility criteria being less stringent than regular unemployment. It includes an element of self-certification in order to qualify. And clearly, California is not verifying whether or not people qualify for this. And in fact, in the month of May, the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Inspector General actually predicted that this would happen, that you would have a number of people, because of self-certification, who were going to basically lead to fraud. And according to the report, quote, the CARES Act Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program expanded UI eligibility to individuals who are not typically qualified to receive such benefits. To establish eligibility, the CARES Act requires individuals to self-certify that they have lost employment income due to COVID-19 related reason specified within the statute. This self-certification renders the individual eligible to receive payments immediately, close quote. In other words, there is no immediate eligibility check that's required by the statute. That's either performed by the Department of Labor or the state who administers the benefits. And so the benefits are then shipped out. As soon as you self-certify, you get the benefits immediately. The report continues, quote, costs of the PUA benefits are currently estimated to total nearly $110 billion. This was in May. The associated risk of improper payments and fraud is significant, as the UI program historically experiences some of the highest improper payment rates within the federal government. The Office of Inspector General believes states' reliance on self-certifications alone to ensure eligibility for pandemic unemployment assistance will lead to increased improper payments and fraud. The Office of Inspector General was absolutely right, and now we're detecting massive fraud in the state of California. Now, the California Employment Development Department on September 13th, they issued a statement saying the fraud is being perpetrated by identity thieves. And that may very well be true, according to the EDD statement. The EDD is aggressively fighting fraud in the wake of unscrupulous attacks on the unemployment program here in California and across the country. These perpetrators often use stolen identity information from national and global data breaches, as well as exploiting expedited payment efforts in the federal PUA program. Claims identified as suspected fraud have been suspended or closed, while EDD investigators partner with local, state, and federal law enforcement to expose and prosecute offenders to the fullest extent of the law. And this has totally been reported to the FBI when Barbara Lamb in the Bay Area was getting all of these envelopes in the mail of the communal mail slot at her building. She contacted the FBI, and this clearly is a federal investigation. Now, although the fraud only seems to be limited to California, when you look at the data, that's the biggest anomaly that you see. It's not really across the country. In fact, when you remove California's burst of claims for the pandemic unemployment assistance, where it went from 5.4 million August 15th to 6.97 million, and that's an increase of 1.5 million. Well, there was only 1 million more continued claims, which means that the amount of continued claims minus California actually decreased by 500,000 that week. And so I think that clearly California has a problem. Other states appear to have less of a problem. So that's where the fraud is. That's where the federal government, the Justice Department, and the Department of Labor want to focus on. But again, the mystery, why send debit cards to unattended mailboxes? How would the fraudsters collect the money? Now, perhaps it's not merely tied to financial fraud, that is stealing money, but perhaps maybe they think they're going to impact the unemployment rate that's reported nationally from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, where, right now it's reported to be 8.4%. So maybe they think, if we boost the UI claims, we can boost the number of people who are going to be counted as unemployed. Now, President Trump has suggested that the state lockdowns that have driven unemployment to the moon this year could be extended to keep good economic data from coming out. So maybe the states would lock down, and that's going to boost the number of people who say that they're unemployed, and that's going to therefore boost the unemployment rate and make President Trump look bad in the election. Quote, the Democrats will open up their states on November 4th, the day after the election. These shutdowns are ridiculous and are only being done to hurt the economy prior to the most important election, perhaps in our history. Make America great again, hashtag. And fortunately, the BLS does not draw its monthly employment data from the unemployment insurance claims, at least nationally. According to the BLS website, Early each month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics announces the total number of employed and unemployed people. Now, some people think that these figures on unemployment, the government uses the number of people collecting unemployment insurance benefits under federal or state programs. But some people are still jobless when their benefits run out, and many more are not eligible at all, or delay, or never apply for benefits. So quite clearly, UI information cannot be used as a source for complete information on the number of unemployed. And I actually went to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I sent an email to their press office. Gary Steinberg replied very quickly, and he stated, quote, "Unemployment insurance claims are not used to determine the number of people in the nation unemployed or the national unemployment rate." But he reported that local unemployment statistics that the Bureau of Labor Statistics publishes may include UI claims. Quote, "At state and local levels, a number of data sources, including the unemployment claims data, are used to build the local area unemployment levels and rates." And he referred me to a specific section of the BLS website that deals with that. Now, this is the local area unemployment statistics methodology. The LAUS program is a hierarchy of non-survey methodologies for producing monthly estimates of civilian labor force employment and the unemployment rate for over 7,500 sub-national areas. Payroll employment estimates from the current employment statistics survey of establishment and unemployment insurance claims counts from the state workforce agencies are also used as model inputs to help mitigate volatility in the monthly state level CPS, that's the current population survey estimates. And so they're using a portion of the UI data kind of as the corrective measure against the current population survey to derive estimates for the local area unemployment statistics. And you can see this table reported at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, civilian labor force, and unemployment by state and metropolitan area. And so it's going to use the UI claims for that data set. So why might somebody try to do that? It's possible that the fraudulent unemployment insurance claims in California, for example, could be used to affect BLS data locally. And one reason that might be is because the U.S. government uses BLS data in federal funding formulas according to the Department of Labor annual budget requests. Several BLS series are used in the administration of federal programs. For example, changes in BLS data have direct effects on overall federal budget expenditures, including federal allocations to state and local jurisdictions. Local area unemployment statistics data are used to allocate federal funds from assistance programs to states and local jurisdictions in such areas as employment, public works, training, and welfare assistance. So maybe the fraudsters, maybe the reason they're doing this is to boost federal funding to the state of California. So it could be the state itself that's perpetrating the fraud. Who knows? Clearly, somebody needs to investigate. I'd say that maybe that's a possible motive. I don't know for sure. But clearly, if you can boost the amount of people who are said to be unemployed in a local jurisdiction, you can boost federal funding for that jurisdiction. Now, if the fraudsters are hoping to use unemployment insurance claims to boost the reported national unemployment rate, they may be sorely disappointed. Much of the fraud is said to have occurred in August, but the amount of people who are said to be unemployed dropped from 10.2% in July to 8.4% in August. So even though the number of people in California pandemic assistance was increasing, the reported national unemployment rate was actually dropping, as 13.8 million people have returned to the economy since the month of April when labor markets bottomed. So Bureau of Labor Statistics, they appear to be on top of it, at least from the national basis, in terms of not letting these UI claims get into the reported national data, but it may be affecting the local data, but we won't know until next month when this data series is actually updated. So clearly the BLS economists, they're going to want to be wary that the numbers coming out of California are basically wrong. They're probably fraudulent, and so not to use that data when they construct this data series for the local area unemployment statistics, because it could be a method for increasing federal funding to those jurisdictions when they probably don't need it, and the unemployment claims are actually fraudulent. Although the state of California is telling a different story now. We received an update from the Department of Labor. A spokesperson says that the bump, according to California, in continued pandemic unemployment claims, that they were backlogged retroactive claims that were delayed, quote, due to difficulties in implementing the new program, and now are finally appearing in the database. According to the DOL spokesperson, quote, California indicated that there were a large number of continued claims reported for backdated weeks of pandemic unemployment assistance. PUA was implemented retroactively for weeks beginning on or after January 27, 2020. In addition, further need to backdate claims occurred due to the difficulties in implementing the new program combined with the extreme claims volumes in both the regular and pandemic unemployment assistance programs. As a result, individuals that were unable to file for PUA earlier in the period of eligibility and were eligible for backdated claims were filed and reported in bulk by the state as they were taken because California's current reporting system is unable to assign the claims to the week to which they were applied. This caused continuing claims to appear to be higher than initial claims. Now, the spokesperson also emphasized that, quote, one of the most important things to understand about the data released weekly is that it is provided by the state. So I guess the Department of Labor doesn't really want to vouch for what California is saying about these continued claims, and that it could be quite erroneous, and they should really investigate. So should the Justice Department. And I'll leave you with the close here. Potential data manipulation motives aside, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, particularly in the state of California, with its pitiful self-certification requirement, appears to be running rampant with fraud and with billions of dollars being stolen. And it is up to the Justice Department to investigate and bring the thieves to justice. And it is up to Congress, President Donald Trump, and the Department of Labor to rein this program in immediately. Self-certification to receive benefits is a joke. That's the commentary. This is Robert Romano, Vice President of Public Policy with Americans for Limited Government, dailytorch.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and have a good day.